I started this broadcast, I started my Hangout, and somehow that button that's always there that says start broadcast, it wasn't. So what I would love for you guys to do, if you could just type into the comments box if you guys can see me and hear me, because I want to jump right in because we're starting a few minutes late and I have a ton of things to cover to share with you today that I'm really excited about. So if you could do that, I'm going to just double check my messages here because I would love to see you. Okay, people are saying, how do I get audio? Let me see. Hopefully people can get in. I'm just going to reply to a couple of comments. And hopefully if you are seeing me, if you could just send me a note in that comment box down below. Okay, I'm getting some loud and clear, see you and hear you. Okay, super. So I don't want to waste any more time, and I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. If that's the only problem that I have technically today, it's going to be really cool because I seem to have some techie gremlins with my live events the last few, but hopefully I'm getting the hang of it now. So I have a great presentation for you guys today, or at least I hope very much that you guys will enjoy it. I'm going to try to teach you everything I know about getting customers fast on Instagram. So I am going to get into my slideshow mode here, and I am going to share my screen. Share this screen. And let's see, present to everyone. All right, great. Is that clear to everyone? Okay, super. I'm going to dive right in. So we've already done the welcome. I just wanted to ask, though, and one more question here for you at the beginning. What is the biggest result that you want to get from your time and effort using social media today? Because I'm really trying to make sure I understand your challenges. And so if you can let me know what that big result is that you are looking for, that would really help me and help me today to tailor the content for you. So I'm going to talk about what you will learn today. First of all, why and how to take advantage of Instagram now. And I think you guys are here because you do want to take advantage of Instagram now. So that's obviously really important, but I think I can give you a little bit more information that's going to help you understand the power of Instagram and how you can leverage it. So we're going to talk about how to get a 20% opt-in rate on cold traffic from Instagram, because that is actually what I'm getting right now on traffic from Instagram, which is about triple the amount of the opt-in rate that I get on traffic coming from any other social media source. And trust me, I've been trying them all and I've used them very consistently. And this one right now, Instagram, is just working really, really well. So we're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about how to get 868 new followers in just 1 week, because this system that I'm going to teach you will allow you to do that. And so I do want to point out that what I really believe about Instagram is it's not just about the number of followers that you get. It's about the quality of followers that you have. So it's not all about the numbers, but there's certainly times that you do want to systematically increase your following. And that is a system that I'm going to talk to you today about, is how you can actually do that. So we're also going to bust some myths. I think there's a lot of misconceptions that people have about Instagram, or misunderstandings, and I would like to help you understand it better and how to use it. And we are going to talk about my proven 7-step system to attract your ideal audience, grow your followers and fans, get more leads, and most importantly for business owners is getting new customers. If you stick with me, I have some freebies and a very special offer at the end for you. And I'm going to be giving away my 51 Instagram content ideas. So that's a great checklist just to keep handy if you're getting ready to post something and you have a little bit of a blank. Sometimes it even happens to me, and I actually refer back to this. And you'll get a copy of these presentation slides, so you don't have to worry about anything that's on the slides here. You will be able to get access to that at the end. And I'll also provide you with 6 different Instagram case studies that I think you'll be able to learn from. Talks about 6 different types of accounts and what their approaches are and what's been successful for them. So why are you here today? And what I hear from most of the people that I'm working with is that getting new leads and customers can be a really huge struggle for most smaller businesses. And I can totally relate because this has happened to me multiple times, but most recently when I started my latest business at the end of last year. So I totally can relate to this struggle, and I really want to be able to help you, and I think this presentation will do that. Instagram can really bring you highly qualified leads that will turn into loyal customers who actually want what you have to sell. And if you go back to that 20% opt-in rate from Instagram traffic, what that tells you is that when people get to your website, they're already very interested in you and your business and your products and services. Because if you're familiar and tracking other social media, you'll know, generally you'll get 6 to 8% opt-in rate for your traffic coming from those social media sites, because this is cold traffic essentially. But I like to think about Instagram as actually being a little bit warm traffic, because people are already pre-qualified. They have to make a little bit extra effort to move from Instagram to your website. And what I have found is that these people already are pre-qualified and they turn into really qualified leads for you. So what I've seen though is a lot of businesses are starting to use Instagram. At first, it was just kind of some of the big brands, not even all the big brands were on board, but I think the momentum, and we'll talk about the growth, is really huge right now for Instagram. So I'm seeing more and more small businesses jump on to Instagram and start getting involved, getting engaged there, which is fantastic. And I love it because I really know the power of Instagram. But what I'm seeing also is a lot of businesses are struggling. And so I don't want to pick here on Social Media Todd, but I do want to just show you an example of someone who's put 932 posts on Instagram. So that's a huge amount of content. And clearly he's got a business site, because the link here is to a social media agency in the UK. So he's linking right to his blog. So clearly, he has some business goals with this account, but with nearly 1,000 posts, there's only 300 people following right now. So to me, that is an example of somebody who's putting a lot of effort into Instagram, but not getting the results that he could be with that amount of content. And we'll talk because, with my account now, I'm getting close to 4,000 followers. And again, it's not all about the numbers. I really want to emphasize quality over quantity. But at the same time, I just have a little over 100 posts so far. So, what that shows is that I'm getting a lot more traction, engagement, and followers and leads with a lot less effort. So I want to talk a little bit about me. I really started out my journey as an entrepreneur in my 20s out of college, and I was pretty lucky. I actually kind of jetted off to Asia, to Taiwan, with like $500 in my pocket and a one-way ticket, kind of determined to make it. Ended up working in a variety of crazy roles ranging from karaoke hostess to English teacher to eventually a sales manager for a flashlight company, and then met a client there, and we started a very successful import-export business actually in Hong Kong. So I have been an entrepreneur. I love being an entrepreneur. I also have a lot of marketing expertise in the corporate world, so I'm going to talk about that. And right now, I advise businesses on their visual marketing strategy and how to generate leads and sales with visual marketing, and also on how to take advantage of Instagram. And what I really love is about turning kind of random acts of marketing, which I see a lot of small businesses doing, into really cohesive strategies that get great results. And I'm kind of obsessed with tracking and analytics and that kind of thing, because I really feel like you have to understand what's working for you. And when you're a smaller business, you have to be super smart about where you're putting your time and effort. And I'm very big about getting the best results possible with the least amount of effort. And I'm actually going to admit it, I am a little bit lazy. So it's one reason why I love Instagram. So, I just want you to know, because I feel like people, see others that are in a certain position and think everything's always great. But, there was really a lot of struggle involved for me getting to where I am today. And there's been a lot of highs and lows. I ended up going back to business school and getting my MBA, thinking that I would go work for some cool startup in Silicon Valley, and the dot-com bubble crashed. And I ended up in a corporate job. And it was great. I was learning, I was growing. At first I figured it would be a few years. I was kind of climbing up that corporate ladder. My favorite old Monster.com commercial is like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to climb my way up the corporate to middle management. And I always have that vision of, climbing my way up. On the surface, I was successful. And, it was good. I was moving forward. I was financially stable, but I just really felt like it wasn't a great fit for me. It was not me. And I just struggled. And I'm a very positive, happy, outlook on life. And that's my personality. But I actually was getting very anxious and really depressed. I was having a hard time getting up in the morning. I just didn't feel like it was me. But at the same time, I was secure and I was afraid of changing. I was afraid of taking that leap. I used to take a lot of risks when I was younger, and I just got afraid and scared. And then I got really fortunate last year because I had the opportunity to leave my corporate job and work for a couple of different startups here in Jacksonville, Florida, where I live. And I honestly felt that I had hit the jackpot. I was so excited. There was a crowdfunding event that I was super passionate about because it was helping these early stage creators. And I was working for a business accelerator program that was really, basically working side by side with businesses in their early phases. And I was helping them with their marketing strategy, and also, every single day on a daily basis with, what they were executing, what was working, what wasn't working, and helping them to devise a strategy, but also like really specific tactic and action plans. And I just loved that environment, and it was fantastic. But unfortunately, things kind of happen when you least expect them. And the investor pulled out very suddenly with no warning, the sole investor in that business accelerator program. So within a week, I found myself out of work. And I was really at an impasse because I had to decide, was I going to go back to, look for a corporate job, or was I going to try to do what I had wanted to do? And I had tried a couple times, really on the side of my corporate job. I started a couple different businesses. Some of them obviously didn't work out that well, or I wouldn't be with them now. And I also had started this, marketing education program business, Spark Your Profits, and was having a lot of fun with that. But the reality was, it was just a hobby business. Okay, it really wasn't earning income. It was enjoyable. I was loving it, but it really wasn't earning an income. So I really was at this impasse, and I had to figure out, was I going to actually take a risk and try to really make it work? or was I going to go back to and try to find another corporate job, which would have been relatively easy, but I knew I would be unhappy and unfulfilled. And around that same time, actually, right at that time, my father had been diagnosed with advanced cancer. And so he's still battling that right now. And so I have a 3-year-old son, and I just decided, you know what, I have got to make this work. And so that's what I did. But honestly, it was a struggle. It wasn't really as easy as I thought it would be. I really, like I said, had what was essentially a hobby business that I had to really grow and become profitable very quickly. And so, like a lot of business owners and a lot of people that I work with, I was spending a lot of time on social media to promote my business. And really, actually, I would say wasting a lot of time because I wasn't focused on the revenue generating kind of activities that I needed to be focused on, because I was really, focused on this social media marketing. But like I said, I'm kind of obsessed with tracking things. And so by looking at what I was doing, I really could understand that a lot of it was giving me very few results. And so it enabled me to focus on what was getting good results. And the awesome thing is that when I worked with these startups, one of the things that I realized was how successful Instagram can be, because I really didn't believe that, or we didn't use it in my corporate role, but I started to see the success, and I started to work with them to see if we could make it even better. And so that's really what got me interested in Instagram. And that's how, working with those businesses and then working on my own, when I started to see the results, I was able to come up with the system that really works. It's a lot of trial and error, a lot of experimenting, and always tracking what's going on, because that's critical. So I really just want to say, I want to save you guys a lot of the learning curve that I had and make this really easy for you. So, this is my Spark Your Profits Instagram account. So instagram.com/sparkyourprofits if you want to follow along, if you're not already. I really just jumped into Instagram when I started seeing those results with my clients and started focusing on it myself. And that is really what helped me turn the corner and start to get those clients that really did want what I had to offer. So you can see here, I just have over 100 posts, not that many. I have a 20% opt-in rate on my leads from Instagram. So that profile link, I have it set up in tracking. It's really important when you're using Instagram. So here's a great tip to make sure that the link in your profile or your bio is set up so that you can track your traffic, because you want to know if it's working or not. And when you try different tactics, you want to be able to see, is it improving or making your results worse? Because it's very important to be able to keep optimizing to get this kind of result. So you can see that in a short period of time here, I had over 300 visitors and 68 new leads at that 20% opt-in rate with my Instagram account. And in 1 week, I've had as many as 868 new followers. And, again, I don't want to emphasize the numbers here, but like I said, there's times in your business where you need to grow your followers. What I think is more important is that you have a system that will help you grow really targeted followers, not just any followers, because you're never going to get that kind of opt-in rate if you're just getting a bunch of followers that really aren't interested in what you have to offer. So that's why the system that I'm going to teach you here is really going to help you, because even if you have 500 followers, if they really want your products and services and they're engaged with you and they become your loyal fans, then that can be hugely valuable for a small business. It doesn't need to be, your followers certainly don't need to be in the thousands for you to get results. In fact, I got results very, very quickly, and more than just customers, but I'll talk a little bit more about that. But other things that you can get in terms of visibility and PR, and we'll cover a little bit of that here. So I don't want to jump ahead. But this is my account growth, and started the account, was really focused on some other things. And once I started focusing and really following the system, that's when you can see I really took off, and I'm getting close to 4,000 followers now. And like I said, it's been growing very quickly now. And you'll see that with your account. Once you sort of reach certain milestones with your account numbers, the momentum starts to continue. And what I love about it is you don't have to really be posting all that often. So it's not like Twitter where you have to post 20 times a day. And Facebook, I still have posts scheduled to go out on my fan page, but that's just like crickets these days in the Facebook fan page. The only way you can get results there really is to pay for Facebook ads. But I know a lot of us are working on very limited budgets. And so that's another thing that I love about Instagram. So why Instagram now? And I know you're here because you are interested and you're intrigued by the fact that Instagram can be valuable for your business, but it really is the fastest growing social media platform. It has 300 million monthly active users. There's more users than Twitter, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. So that just shows you the power of it right there. And what's even more incredible is this number is 1 billion. And what is happening is since Facebook purchased Instagram, they have been promoting it like crazy. And they grew from like 200 million to 300 million users in about 8 months last year. So they're forecasting 1 billion users within several years, which I don't doubt at all because Facebook has that power. And so this is growing exponentially. And so now is really the time to establish your foothold. And the Instagram crowd, the people that are on Instagram tend to be, they're mobile, which we all know is huge. Everything's moving to mobile. They tend to be wealthier, more educated. I think 48% of Instagram users have a higher education degree, and they tend to have a higher disposable income than other segments. So right now, still, I would say, the majority, maybe 70% or so of Instagram users, according to the latest statistics, which are still already a little bit out of date, are up to age 35. But more and more people of all age groups are getting onto Instagram, again, because it's growing so quickly. So that's why, if you remember Facebook fan pages a few years ago, when you were able to really quickly build up a quality list of engaged fans and people were able to see your content, that's what Instagram is like today, because there's no algorithms right now for Instagram to, only deliver some of your content to your audience. If people are following you and they're on Instagram, they are going to see your posts and your content. So it's a really great time to get on board because, that's not always going to be the way. But I think we all know that if you took the time and you have built up a great base of Facebook fans that are quality fans, I'm talking about, not going out and buying a bunch of likes or, spammy stuff, but quality fans, which is exactly what I'm going to teach you about here, then now you're able to market to them with advertising, which is rolled out only for top brands right now on Instagram, but is absolutely going to be rolling out more advertising even this year for other businesses on Instagram. So when you're marketing to that loyal audience that you've built up on Facebook to your fans, you are able to spend a lot less money. It's much cheaper to advertise to those people. And so that's the way Instagram is going to be. So it's a great way to get visibility now, but it's also a great way to build up an audience that you can continue to market to and eventually to advertise to later. So I want to bust some common myths. I would play the little Bust It song, but I didn't get the audio clip in here because I think there's still a lot of misconceptions about Instagram and how it can be used for business. And the first very common one is you can't make sales from Instagram. And I just want to show you this quote from Forbes. Instagram is shaping up to be the world's most powerful selling tool. So there's multiple different ways that you can make sales from Instagram. You can sell directly in the comments of your posts. you can drive people to call your business, to visit your business if you have a physical location, to opt into your list and to become leads and then convert them into sales. You can use, apps that will actually let you sell products, physical products, directly on Instagram. So there's plenty of ways that you can use Instagram to sell. So if you're in any doubt of that, I just want you to know that there's a lot of ways that you can do that. Another thing that I think people believe, at least people that I've been talking to, is that you can't target a specific audience on Instagram. And that is definitely not true either, because you can use some very specific strategies to reach these, targeted followers. It's really, really important that you know who you're trying to reach on Instagram and in your business, right? So if you have a very clear idea of your target audience, you need to know who they are, then there are absolutely ways that you can reach them. And it's really not that difficult when you know how to do it. So a lot of people say, well, it's not going to work for my, fill in the blank business. So it won't work for my service business. It won't work for my, whatever kind of business. People don't often just think it's not going to work for me, but there's a lot of successful businesses on Instagram today. You have everything from, health and wellness. You've got bloggers, you've got service businesses like photographers and real estate agents, graphic designers, and it's not all visual businesses. There's dentists, there's contractors, roofing contractors, and there's people that have businesses that are really not very visual at all, that are successful with Instagram. And so I've seen a lot of bloggers, I've seen authors and coaches and experts. It's a really fantastic way to raise your visibility. We'll talk about some of these benefits. But I want to keep going here because I got started a little bit late. I don't have visual content is another myth that I hear from people. So that is also something that's not true. Every business has visual content, and there's a lot of easy ways, and I'll talk about some of them here, that you can create visual content very quickly and easily that's compelling, that will help you get that connection with your audience. So going to move on from there. I want to talk about the reality of Instagram now. It's very easy to meet and engage with people. If any of you, and I hope most of you are already at least started your Instagram accounts, but I think you'll know from the first few posts that you make that you will right away get more likes and comments on Instagram than you will on the same post on Facebook today, even if you already have a lot more fans on Facebook. So it's a lot less effort to get more results. You have this visual platform to get, and that really gives you high visibility and a strong emotional connection with your audience. And the cool thing about Instagram is people are on it using a mobile app, and it's a very pure content feed. When you're scrolling through Instagram, you will only see one image or video at a time. And so you have their full attention. So you can grab their attention in the news feed, and we'll talk about that, and I have a lot more information in my course as well on ways to grab attention and capture people's attention in the news feed with your content. So you also have higher quality traffic and leads that I've already talked about. So I want to jump in here to my 7-step system to Instagram success, because I want you guys to get really the full Monty here. The first step that's most important is to set the right goals for your business. And if you don't know where you're going, you will end up someplace else. This is really, really important. And I see a lot of people jumping into Instagram, as well as other social media, really without a plan and some goals in place. And there's actually a lot of things that Instagram can do for your business. We're going to talk about that. You can reach new prospects, obviously, so expanding your reach and your audience and reaching new people that you haven't been able to reach otherwise. You can communicate and deepen that relationship with your existing prospects and customers on Instagram. You can get PR and media attention, and this is actually really important because it can be super powerful for smaller businesses. And one of the first things that happened to me when I started focusing on Instagram is I was able to get invited to podcasts, and I was able to get attention of bloggers right there on Instagram. So it's really easy to, the media is actually always looking on Instagram now because it's such real-time content that the media is going to Instagram looking for content. So it's a fantastic way to get PR if you have a new launch coming up, new products, anything new going on with your business. Really highly recommend thinking about it in terms of getting attention from the media, because it's very powerful that way. You can connect with influential people, which can be really important in reaching their audiences and getting more exposure for you and your business. And you can get high quality website traffic that I think I've already mentioned here, so I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you can generate leads and sales. And I know that that is what everyone is here for, and so that's where we're going to focus today. But the 7-step system, actually, my full 7-step system really teaches you how to achieve all of these different goals with Instagram. But what's important is that you set your goals and make sure that you're focusing on what's most important to you first. So in terms of generating leads and sales, I want to talk about Original Fuzz, which is one of my clients. And they had been they had already been on Instagram for, I think, 14 months when I started working with them and when they took my course. And they were getting good results. They weren't tracking it very well, but they knew it was working for them. They knew people were engaged, and they could tell. And they were putting a lot of effort into Instagram as a platform. And they had about 2,000 followers at the time. And they went through my course, and they were able to actually more than double their followers within the next 4 months afterwards. And so Instagram right now is their #1 source of new sales for their e-commerce business. And it's a really cool account if you guys are interested. Any guitar players here, they make very cool guitar straps from fabrics and imported or fabrics from like Peru and India. They have very unique custom products, and I love their product line. But they are able to use Instagram right now, and they've actually reduced the time that they spent on other platforms to almost zero, other social platforms, and they use their Instagram content, which you can do as well, to strategically feed content for your other social platforms so that you don't have to create extra content for these different social platforms. And I am all about spending less time and getting more out of it, so it's really important. So step number 2, set up your profile the right way. So it's really important, and I talk a lot about building this foundation that's right, building the foundation of your house on Instagram the right way. And it seems a little bit, like each of these steps may not have, be the critical factor, but it's when you put all of these steps and this system to work together is when you have the full power of it. So I want to show you really, your Instagram profile should attract your ideal audience. So you have to know who you're trying to reach, and everything you do on Instagram should be geared towards adding value for that ideal audience. And that starts with setting up your profile the right way. And again, I see a lot of companies making mistakes with that. I wanted to show you some profiles here that I like. This is Pebble. They have a very cool hand knit and hand crocheted children's toys that are made by a really cool co-op in Bangladesh. And so they have a nice profile here, putting smiles on faces worldwide, that links directly to their e-commerce site. I think they could do better with a tracking URL here, but you really want to set up your profile to appeal to your audience. And there's different strategies to do this, and it depends on what type of business you have. This is another example of an Etsy shop, and so they've linked directly to their shop. They've talked a little bit about carpooling to cocktail party, so handmade baubles for every day, made in Texas. So they've told a little bit about who they are, when they're established. And so you really want to show your personality in your profile, but you want to, more importantly, give people a reason to follow and show them what they're going to get. And so you can see here my profile, which I talk a little bit about what I do and who I am, but I also talk about the value that I'm going to give them. So follow for marketing and Instagram tips. And I have my location here for people that might be local, but I really have a very global audience. And Instagram is a fantastic global platform. What's interesting though is you can also use Instagram to hyper target local clients. So my hairdresser has been using my strategies and actually targeted businesses, or I'm sorry, not businesses, but her target clients within like a 10-mile area of her hair salon. So she's super excited because she wasn't on Instagram at all. And she's got, I think, close to 500 fans now that are all local prospects and clients now for her. And so there's ways that you can do this depending on how you build your strategy, how you do your profile, how you do your content and optimize it to reach the audience that you are trying to reach. So again, really important to know, are you trying to reach a local audience? Are you trying to reach a global audience? Are you trying to reach specific areas? So the third step in this foundation is to really post content that works. And by works, I mean, it's interesting, it's valuable, and it's entertaining to the audience that you want to attract. So going back to really knowing your audience, this should always be your goal when you're posting your content. So I want to give you some ideas, because the other thing in terms of posting the right kind of content on Instagram is that you have to post content that actually works for Instagram as well as works for your ideal audience, because Instagram has a certain culture, and this kind of shows you just a snapshot here of some different types of content on Instagram. And it's really important that your content fits with the Instagram culture as well as attracts your target audience, because Instagram is rooted in photography from their origins, and now you can post short videos up to 15 seconds on Instagram, but you don't want to be posting really poor quality images. I don't want you to think you have to be a professional photographer or any kind of professional designer by any means, because I am absolutely not. But you want to post less quantity and higher quality. So if you're at an event and taking a bunch of images and hashtagging the event, and trying to reach out with, it's a great way to network with people at events and connect with people at events. You want to make sure that you don't just post a whole bunch of your pictures, especially all at one time, because that's considered really spammy on Instagram. You want to space your content out on Instagram. And so you want to just pick a selection of your very best images. And there's a lot of ways that you can take even average or low quality images that you're taking with your smartphone and use some apps and filters, and even use the Instagram app itself, which I talk more about in my course, on to improve those pictures and make them look much higher quality. So you don't have to have pro level photography by any means. And you can also do a lot with the right kinds of stock images, stock photography. You don't want to just put a bunch of canned images up there like stock photos from your product catalog or whatever, but you definitely can take stock photos, you can crop them, you can apply filters, you can add text on the top, and you can really take stock images that you find and either find or purchase, and you can use those as the base of content images for Instagram. But you also want to use, in general, some images that are more personal, that show the personality of you and your brand and the team that you have as well. And so this is an example of kind of a behind the scenes photo. The behind the scenes content is fantastic for Instagram. This is a design shop, so it's a perfect example of somebody that might say, well, I have a service business, you know, what kind of content can I post? So it's just somebody on the team that's working here. It could be the business owner. If you have a bigger team, you can spotlight your team, different members of your team. People really, you know, they buy from people, not from, you know, businesses, right? So showcasing your team, who they are, is a really fantastic way to develop a relationship and help your prospects and your clients get to know you and your team better and really build that bond and that relationship, which again is going to turn into more loyal customers. So this is another great example of content on Instagram, and I don't know how well you can see it, but it's a beautiful place setting. This is a big brand, Essie nail polish, or reason. Actually, they probably look bigger than they actually are, but a brand of nail polish. And on that very first plate, they have a bottle of pink nail polish. And what they've done is they've taken their product and they've put it into a unique setting, and this really grabs attention because you're kind of juxtaposing things that wouldn't normally be there, right? And it's a great way to kind of subtly show your products, and you can do this with services too. You can show your services in context. You know, people, what is the result that people get when they use your services or purchase their services? You can show kind of lifestyle images, but showing something that's a little bit out of the ordinary and putting your product or your service into a unique context is a really fantastic way to grab attention. And I like this example a lot. This is an example of Joel Combs. So he's an author and an expert, and you know, his feed here, his Instagram feed, has a lot of inspirational quotes and a lot of tips. This can work really well. I post a lot of tips on my account, and advice and inspiration, and especially, you know, whether you're a product or a service business, this can be highly effective. And I always get a lot of great engagement when I'm posting helpful advice or motivation, and people also share it. And there's kind of some unique ways that people share on Instagram. They actually have to tag someone in the comments. There's no share button the way there is on Facebook if you're not familiar with it. So sometimes you have to be a little bit strategic in, you know, how you get people to share your content on Instagram and asking for that. But I definitely find that the motivational content and inspirational content and educational content, tips, tricks, work really well. And video, so, you know, we don't have time to get into all the different things you can do with video. It's only 15 seconds right now. I go into a lot more depth in my course, but you can do a lot with 15 seconds, and testimonials and how-tos and little mini case studies, and it's really, really powerful. So the next step is to optimize your content so it gets found, again, by the right people, by that audience that you are trying to attract. So what do you need to optimize? This really has to be a, you know, very complete process that you have to think through every time you're posting your images or your videos. So your images and videos themselves need to be optimized, and I talked a little bit about some strategies to create some visuals, content that's going to stand out. When you post, so the time of day, the day of the week can make a big difference. And, you know, I discovered, and, you know, through my clients and myself and trial and error, there's certain times of the day and certain days of the week that I'm going to get a lot more visibility, a lot more engagement. And you can experiment with this and you can track this. There's some free tools that you can use, like Iconosquare, which is fantastic, to see what's working for you. In a lot of cases, you know, studies say that it tends to be, you know, in the evenings on weekdays are good, Monday through Thursday. But there's some tricks to this, and you really have to test it yourself as well. And I talk in more detail about how to do that. Again, I can't get into it all right now. But the descriptions. So descriptions, when you post an image or a video, right underneath, you're able to fill out your description. And you really want to be strategic with how you write that description. Think about what message you want to portray, what action you want people to take, and how to optimize that description to really get the attention of your ideal followers, your ideal audience. And so descriptions can be quite long. So Instagram, interestingly, is turning into almost a microblogging site, or it is really a microblogging site. And you can put up to, I think, 2,400 characters into a description. So you can put quite a lot of content, but you only have a little bit of that, you know, what I would normally call, like on a website, the above the fold real estate, right? So what people are going to see when they're first scrolling through their news feed is only that very top bit. So you want to make sure you optimize the descriptions, you know, in the very beginning, and make sure that you've got the right content there, the right level of content, and that you've got that really defined and clear for your target audience. Hashtags are really key to Instagram, and it's important that you use hashtags. It's important that you understand how to use them and when to use them. Now with the you know, latest update to Instagram, you have to post your hashtags either in your description or immediately afterwards in one of your comments. You can use up to 30 hashtags. I don't always recommend using that many, but definitely my data shows that using more hashtags is better if you want to get more engagement, and if you're, for example, in a growth phase of your account. So if you're in a point where you're really trying to aggressively grow your followers, that's really important. And you want to use a mix of hashtags that might be a little bit broader and more popular, and some hashtags that are more specific to the very specific content that you're posting and the content that your ideal audience is looking for. So it's important to do your research on the hashtags. It's important to try different hashtags and to know which hashtags your audience is using and responding to, and be able to use those in your posts. And you can also create brand hashtags, so hashtags that are related just to your brand. So for example, I use SYP tips, Spark Your Profit tips, whenever I'm posting a tip. And if someone taps on that hashtag, they're going to find all of my tips in one place. You can use hashtags for contests and you know, ways to get your brand spread throughout Instagram. Also, you can use hashtags to find content that other people are posting about your business and your brand, which is really, really important to have. So geotags are another really powerful thing that you can do. So make sure that you're using your geotags correctly, your location tagging when it's relevant for you, and make sure that you're using, you know, custom geotags that you can create in Instagram to be able to have some extra kind of real estate to provide a message to your audience. So geotags can be really key to your optimization strategy. And you know, the content optimization, back to that, building that foundation. So you've built your profile to attract your audience and get people to follow you. You've posting content that's going to attract your audience. The optimizing piece is how new people discover your content on Instagram. So this is really important to think about all of these different pieces so that you can get them right. And again, you're going to have access to these slides at the end. I'll have a link for that. So don't worry about having to take notes for all of these elements. So, but you definitely want to think about all of these every time you make a post. Shout outs and @ tagging, so referring to other accounts and partnering with other accounts can be a great way to optimize your content and grow your followers. And I'm sorry I don't have time to get into, you know, obviously we just have, this was going to be an hour. I'm going to try to wrap it up quickly. But, you know, there's a lot of some powerful strategies that you can do with partnering and shout outs to help grow your audience. So then you really want to, you know, systematically be able to find and grow that audience. So you really want to think about asking people to share and like and engage with your content. Engagement is really important here. So this is an example of someone that's posted, spread awareness, tag 3 friends, and use the hashtag. So back to when I talked about, using a hashtag to spread your content. So you're asking people to use a hashtag. You're asking them to tag other people. That gets more eyeballs on your content, which is a great strategy. And then there's some really systematic ways that you can go out and engage in a really authentic way with your target audience. And that is where it gets really powerful, because that's how you can grow your account with very targeted people. And I talk in my full course about 6 levels of engagement on Instagram that you can use to systematically grow your following. And you can do this yourself. You can have someone on your team help you with it. You can even outsource it if you want. But I'm going to talk about some of those ways. So following other people that you are targeting. So you have to really be able to, to research and find them. It's really not difficult if you know some of the research techniques, but following your target audience. A lot of people, when you're following them, are going to look at your content, and if it interests them, they're going to follow you back. So you have to be very strategic about this. Liking the content of other people. And it's not just, finding that target audience can be finding other businesses that might be local to you, or other businesses that would have the same kind of audience that you have, and then understanding who their followers are, and then going going out and liking people's content, but not in a spammy way. It can be systematic, but you want to like content that you really have a reason to like, and content that people are posting who are your ideal audience, the customers and followers that you're trying to attract. So you do that strategically. Commenting. And again, this is where you don't want to be using some kind of crazy bot or using spammy comments, but real authentic comments to your target audience on their content, making a connection with them, an emotional connection, have a sense of humor. If you see something in their content that you can relate to, put something authentic there. And that really, when people start to see you commenting on their content, and they will come and check you out. And once again, if you have your house foundation built correctly, if your profile is designed to attract them, if the content, they're going to take a look at your content for sure before they make the decision of whether they're going to follow you or not. You have to make sure that the foundation is built right before you start doing these very systematic strategies of engagement. So and then direct messaging is another really powerful one. You can send direct messages even if people aren't following you back. It has to be an image or a video, but you can use text in the description. So direct messaging is very, very powerful right now, because the other thing about Instagram is people aren't totally overwhelmed with all that noise that they are on Twitter and Facebook and all those distractions. And so when they get direct messages on Instagram, they don't get very many. And so it's, again, a really great way to reach a targeted audience. And if you're, for example, a service business, and you don't want necessarily a huge volume of clients, but you need to have, a few clients that are really high quality, direct messaging and this engagement strategy can be really, really powerful. It can be powerful to, back to other things, reaching influencers and the press as well. But I really want to keep the focus here on what you can do to attract, customers and get business and sales from Instagram. What's really important is you want to be real. So be authentic, be real, be yourself. And that is what is going to attract people to you in a magnetic way. So yeah, be yourself. And so once you have done this, and once you've systematically built up this following, at the same time, that having a bunch of followers isn't going to help you if they don't turn into leads and sales. So there's some very specific ways that you can do that. And you really have to be thinking about feeding your funnel. And there's a lot of different strategies to do this on Instagram, and it can depend a lot on the type of business that your business is and how you are generating leads and what your funnel looks like. And I talk about that more in the course. But you always want to be thinking about Instagram of, how are you going to feed that sales funnel that you have? And so what is really, really important is to think about your call to action. What is the one simple action that you want people to take? And I don't want to encourage you here, there's a lot of different ways you can promote your products and your services on Instagram. All of your content shouldn't be promotional, right? Because that's spammy. And I like to think about the 80-20 rule, like maybe 80% of valuable, interesting content, maybe 10 to 20% of promotional content. But you always still have to be thinking about people taking action, whether that's liking you, sharing your content, engaging with you. What is that simple action? Whether it's picking up the phone, whether it's sending you an email, or whether it's signing up for your offer or buying your new book or your Kindle book or downloading your book. Think about the one simple action you want people to take, and then use that very strategically. So this is an example of a profile that's doing this. So if you're interested in services or a brochure, email us. It's a little bit weak because it's just kind of vague, interested in services or a brochure doesn't really tell what it is. So I would recommend being more specific. But what I do like is that they have put a very clear call to action right there in their profile, which I see, again, a lot of mistakes people are making is that they don't have that. This is an example of, offering some promotional content. Again, you want to have a mix of promotional content mixed in with valuable content, but there's some real simple apps and tools that you can use to very easily create images like this, to put the, text and make it attractive and turn a very simple photo that you've taken or a stock photo into something that's powerful. And there's a lot of other ways to promote your content, and I can't I've got to keep running along here because I don't want you to miss, I know people are going to have to leave. I don't want you to miss the important stuff, but a lot of it is about making people aware. There's subtle ways that you can make people aware of what you have to offer within your content itself, that is not super promotional, but it also does get people to understand that you are a business and that you do have something, either a product or a service to offer. And I see businesses making that mistake a lot. And I tend to do that too sometimes with my business, because I'm not a real, woo-woo, look at me, promotional kind of a person. But what can happen is that, by swinging the other way, I see businesses that, you can't even tell that it's a business from their account. You have to look really hard. So you're not going to ever get leads and sales if people don't understand what products and services you do have available and what value and benefit you can offer to them. So the final and really important step, and this is where you can scale it up and get really efficient and get even better and better results from what you're doing, is when you start to systematize and track what you're doing, and then you can optimize it and make it even better. So, in terms of systematizing and tracking, I've got some really simple example routines in my course that you can follow so that every week or every day when you go onto Instagram, I'm going to do, these few activities. This is what my objective is in terms of posting, but also in terms of that engagement strategy. And you can just create these little simple routines that systematize it and make it really easy and efficient. And when you track and you have those tracking links set up, like I mentioned before, in your profile, you can track where people are coming from. If you have links that you're posting in your description that aren't clickable, you can use shortened links. People are going to have to type those into a browser, and they're usually on mobile, so you have to make sure it's really easy for them. But when you're tracking what you're doing, and you're also tracking your engagement, you're tracking which content is getting you the most likes and the most authentic comments, and engaging back with those, you can really, really exponentially increase your results. And that's when you start to get to that, I wasn't getting over 800 followers in 1 week In the beginning, it takes a little bit of time, but if you follow this system, it teaches you how to go back and do that. So do you want for your business more web traffic, high quality leads? We've talked about the quality of people, and more sales. And I think, honestly, most of us do. And I definitely have been in that position for my business, and I know what it's like. And I know, from personal experience, how hard it can be to get this sometime. And honestly, my perspective is I was really helping some clients one-on-one with their Instagram, and, obviously with my own, using Instagram for my own business, and started a Facebook group. Some of you might be in the Facebook group. And, more and more, I just realized that, people needed more help. There's a lot of common questions. There's a lot of common mistakes. And so I really hope that today has helped you understand how to kind of put all those pieces together and create a system that you can use for your own business that is going to really build up that foundation, and then systematically increase your followers, and then keep optimizing so that you're getting better and better results with less time. And again, Instagram, I sometimes just post once or twice a week. Sometimes I post, maybe 5 to 7 times a week, but that's about it. And I'm getting really good results. So I really wanted to offer you something here if you do want to go deeper, and if you feel that Instagram is right for you and your business at this time. And I've created this Profit with Instagram Complete Training Program. It has 9 video modules, and some of those are, each module sometimes has multiple videos in it. There's audio downloads for all of that if you want to listen on the go. You can download all the presentation slides. There's worksheets and guides that I've created, and checklists, and I'm actually continuing to add to this course as it goes along. And I've got over 20 case studies in the course itself, and there's 4 bonus video modules that really will help you take it to the next level. And just wanted to talk about, my client Original Fuzz, that they really felt like once they took this course that they got really practical advice that made an immediate impact on their engagement and really grew their followers. And you could see that in their results. And, I talk about everything from, hashtags, the time of day, and some sneaky tactics to spying on your competitors. But I really try to keep it no nonsense, and make it tactics that are going to work for you right away, even if you don't have a ton of time to put into Instagram, because I know that I certainly don't, because I have to focus on my clients as well. So I'll just quickly skim through the modules here. The first 3 modules talk about 11 different ways you can grow your business and setting your goals. We go through how to set your account up, get discovered, get more followers. All of these steps, 7 steps, are included in depth here, in much more depth than I could talk about in just an hour's presentation today. Creating the right content, a lot of different strategies and examples of content to attract your target audience and be able to promote your products and services without being salesy, without being spammy, without being too promotional, because I know, a lot of us really aren't comfortable with that. And so that's what I love about Instagram, is that you can engage with people and they get warmed up to you, and you don't have to do the hard sell, right? We talk about how to optimize your posts. There's a lot of ninja tricks on the optimization side, how to engage, interact, and systematically grow your followers. And I've told you about that, some of those methods that you can do that. Converting your followers to leads and sales. The last modules here, creating the best strategy for your specific business, and step by step. I've got routines and systems that you can follow that are going to get you more results in less time, and how to track and analyze and keep improving your results. And what I really want to do, and I really believe that this course will do for you, because I know it's done this for people that have purchased it before, is that it really is going to make your learning curve so much faster and save you a ton of time and trial and error, because trust me, I've been through it and I've tracked it and I've figured out what works. And this course will tell you how to make it work for your business. And so this course normally sells for $497. The 4 bonus videos that are included here are really ways to help take it to the next level. Lou Bortone has a fantastic video about quick and easy ways to create videos and how to do it even without getting in front of the camera using some really simple and cool apps. Email campaigns to drive leads and revenue, because a lot of really effective strategy right now on Instagram is to drive people to opt in for your email list and then use those email campaigns to nurture them. And that's what I do very effectively with my Instagram audience, with my Instagram traffic. And then how to develop and create your visual branding strategy with Penny Fox. She makes this so simple. So I am not a graphic designer. I am not a professional at all. I'm in marketing, but I have like zero talent. But it is important to, and it doesn't take a lot of time, but it's really important to develop a visual branding strategy for your business. And Penny makes this super easy and teaches you how to do it. And you can have that cascade throughout your Instagram content, but also throughout all of your social and other branded content, your website, other collateral. So it's great. And then a really cool presentation on how to easily create a library of branded images using just your smartphone. And Grace really teaches you how to do that, like while you're waiting in line in the grocery store. Like you can start to build up your Instagram content library and then reuse that content on other platforms. For there's some strategies in my course about how you can leverage your Instagram content on your blog, on other social media channels, so that you don't have to keep creating new stuff, and use Instagram as like that base of your content. So the value of those videos alone is $97. I have a lot of checklists and guides and worksheets, how to create images that get Uber engagement from a graphic designer, Instagram case studies, I have more than 20, the powerful step-by-step routines to grow your followers, worksheets, and all the slides, of course, worth $77. I've put together a couple of special bonuses that are only for people who are watching this webinar or the webinar replay. And the first one is really fantastic because one thing I hear a lot from people is, I don't have a lot of content. How am I going to get images? How am I going to get pictures? I don't have a lot of pictures. I don't have images. How can I find them? So I've put together 1,500 premium images. They're all high definition, royalty free, huge variety. Again, I've mentioned you don't want to just be throwing stock images up on your account, but you can take these images, as I mentioned, and we've got all the content in the course to do this, is you can take them, you can repurpose them, crop them, use filters, you can put text on them, and it's amazing. You can just use this to create content for Instagram and for all your other social media, for the web, etc. So the cheapest I've seen stock images for sale is $1 an image. So I'm just gonna say it, $1,500 for that. I've also got a bonus for people on the webinar, which is a live session. It's a group session where we will make over Instagram accounts. So you can submit your accounts to me in advance, and we'll choose several accounts for a live makeover. We'll have plenty of time for Q&A because I want to make sure that all of your questions are answered. We'll do this in about a month, and the call will be recorded if you can't make it. So you can submit your questions and your accounts in advance for sure. And then I also am giving access to my new Udemy course, which is Instagram Marketing for Startups and Entrepreneurs. I'm also adding more content to that course. The value is going to increase, but right now it's priced at $47. And so really that total is worth over $2,000 when you look at everything that's included with the course itself, the bonuses that are there, plus these special bonuses just for the webinar is over $2,000. And the price for today and just for the duration of the replay here is only $297. And so you can get this, hopefully the tech gremlins are with me. You should be able to see a link right underneath the video screen here to this. And you can go to visualmarketingedge.com/Instagram webinar to get all of this today for just $297. And I really wanted to price this at a level that people would be able to afford. And trust me, if you get 1 or 2 new clients from this, which you will if you follow the system, you can get that that investment back very, very quickly on Instagram. So I really wanted to make it affordable for everyone and make it something that people can go and right away take action and get their money back. And then I also wanted to offer a special bundle for purchasing this product just for the webinar participants, that I have a deep dive marketing strategy workshop that's 90 minutes. And you can, we go into your Instagram strategy, but more importantly, how does it fit with your other social media and your visual marketing strategy? And how can you make it fit together and leverage the different platforms so that you're creating less content, spending less time, and we can create a custom lead generation and sales strategy tailored just for your business and record that session for your convenience. And so this 90-minute workshop, it's one-on-one. I normally sell it for $497, but if you want to buy it together with the course, and we can time it whenever you want, I would recommend doing it after you've been through the course content to time it that way, but there's no limit on when you can take advantage of this. It's only $147 today if you purchase it together with the Profit with Instagram course. And so I wanted to add this in because I just, I know sometimes people, the course is designed really to be, completely, self-study. You can watch it at your own pace and get everything you need to know. But if you want some extra help customizing this for your business, I want that to be available to you at a very affordable price. And this is 100% guaranteed or your money back. So I have a 30-day guarantee on this program. So if you're curious and want to check it out, I would encourage you. You don't have to worry. There's definitely, I stand behind all of my products and services that I offer. So rest assured. And wait, there's more. So, okay, this is kind of a joke because it's actually not seen on TV, but I do want to have a special offer just for the people who are here live on the call today. So I have a fast action bonus for live attendees. It's a one-on-one strategy session just focused on Instagram. So this is a 30-minute personal strategy session that's going to look at your Instagram account. Again, I would recommend doing this after you've had a chance to go through the course content, and then I can tailor this very specifically to your Instagram account and the content, provide very specific suggestions for your content and improving it, for targeting your audience, doing that research, finding them, increasing your audience, what hashtags to use, and we will record that. And I normally would charge $197 for that, but if you purchase within an hour of the webinar, if you purchase just the course, or the course plus the 90-minute strategy session, this is just a bonus that I'm throwing in so that you have that personal one-on-one help with your Instagram account as well. And so for that, when you throw in the fast action bonus, the value is really up to almost $2,500. So again, $297 for the next hour only for this. Everything that you see here, plus the fast action bonus, which is that one-on-one strategy session. When you go to visualmarketingedge.com/Instagram webinar, this is the page that you will see. It's again $297 today. There should be a comment box right below. If you have any problems or issues with the link or getting this to work, please just type into the comment box and send me a message. You can also reach me at Sarah, S-A-R-A-H, at sparkyourprofits.com. Or hit reply to any of the notices that you got about this webinar, because I want to make sure that you don't have any issues here. The freebies are also on the page. So when you get to that page, visualmarketingedge.com/Instagram webinar, you will get the free gifts, and everybody gets the free gifts. I want you to be able to take these home and use them. 51 Instagram content ideas and how to get customers fast using Instagram. The full slide presentation will be there, and 6 Instagram case studies. And so this is what it looks like when you scroll down on that page. You will see underneath, right before this last image, don't miss out on the offer, and there's the webinar gifts. And I was testing this right before the webinar and the links weren't showing up there. So again, if you have any problem seeing these links, try refreshing the page or if you don't see them, if you go there now, just type into the comments, and I will be happy to make sure that you get all these gifts, because I want you to be able to walk away with some extra help today, just for coming along and spending your time, which I totally respect and know is really valuable. So again, the course is $297. If you want to get the 90-minute strategy workshop added on today for an extra $147, the total is $444. And you can get that at visualmarketingedge.com/Instagram webinar. And once you click buy, you'll get to this order page. And I just want to tell you how it works. There is the 90-minute strategy session and the Profit with Instagram course. Those things are both here in the shopping cart. So if you only want to get the course, you can just hit the remove button right under there, or change the quantity to 0 for the strategy session, and just buy the course. And actually, if you want to get just the strategy session and not the course, that's great too. Again, it's only going to be offered at this price for the webinar participants. So if there's either of those that you don't want, just change the quantity to 0 and hit update quantity to update the shopping cart. So I hope this has been helpful today, and I know we've gone over the time that I had really originally allotted, but what I want to do is take some time to answer questions. And so I'm going to, if you can just type your questions into the chat box there, I would definitely like to take as much time as needed here. I'll hang on as long as you're around to answer your questions. So please type your questions into the chat box if you have any. And you can also email me if you think of something after the webinar. I'm going to send out the replay to everyone, so you'll be able to go back and watch any of this again. And if you think of any questions later, please feel free to send them to me. This replay is just going to be available for a couple of days, so I'm just going to keep it up for 2 days, because I'm really sharing, the complete system here. And so definitely you can ask me questions at any time. So, okay, someone's not seeing the links for the free gifts. And also wondering if it's possible to do a 3-pay option for the course or the upgrade. So that is a great idea. I can set up a 3-pay option. It's going to take me a little bit of time, so I can get that done today. So yes, if you want to do a 3-pay option, I will get that set up today for the course. But you'll have to come back to the sales page. So if you can bookmark this or write down the visualmarketingedge.com/Instagram webinar, and I will try to get that set up by the end of the day if you want to do 3 separate payments. If you don't see the link for the free gifts, if you just want to wait a little bit and try refreshing, and if not, I will make sure that for anybody that emails me or submits a comment through here, that I will make sure that I send you directly those links, because like I mentioned, they weren't working, but they should be going live. Okay, I'm just going to take a minute here because I've got some new questions coming in. Okay, someone asked, is it better to have your name or your business name as a username? So what I would recommend, if possible, if you have a Twitter account or other social media and you have an account name that's a username that you're using, the best thing to do is use the exact same username that you're using on Twitter. Because if you share your content from Instagram to Twitter, which you can easily do through the app, that username will transfer over to Twitter. And so I would recommend using a username that you're already using for other social media channels if you are. I think, the decision about using your own name or a business name depends a lot on your type of business. I would say in the vast majority of cases, you would use your business name. there's no different account type on Instagram. So you can set up a second Instagram account for your business. It's not like a Facebook business page. It's just another Instagram account with a different username and a different name. So I would recommend using your business name for your username, and something that people will recognize. And also in the actual name itself. So the username is the one with the @ symbol, and that's your actual account username. But then you have the name, where you can put both the name of your business and your own name into that if you have enough characters. So you can put your name there. People can still search your name. Your name and your username are searchable on Instagram. So you can use the combination of your username or your @ symbol, as well as the account name, where you have more characters to use to describe your business and even what it does, because that's searchable. So someone asked about changing username. Yeah, so you can go into your settings, and if you're in your profile at the very top right, there's like a little gearbox, and you can go into your settings, and you can definitely change your username in the future. Another question I have here is about whether older people are on Instagram. And so what's interesting is that Facebook is really pushing Instagram content to Facebook and trying to kind of cross promote it. And so every time new statistics are announced about Instagram users, the ages are getting higher, because parents are seeing their kids on Instagram. So the parents are getting on Instagram. People are seeing Instagram content everywhere, on the news, on blogs, on their Facebook, and they're clicking through. And so the demographics are growing, but I would say right now about 70% are up to age 35. Again, 48% of users have a higher education degree, so that shows that they're above college age. But older people are getting on Instagram because it's very, very easy to use. It's a very user-friendly application. And so those demographics are changing. But yeah, I think about 30% of people are over 35 right now. And yes, you can have multiple accounts. You can have as many accounts as you want. You have to use a different email address. So if you want to have 2 different accounts, the only thing you need is a different email address. So you cannot use the same email address for 2 different accounts. But if you can easily set up an extra Gmail account or another email account for your second account. I would recommend, though, with Instagram, there's some strategies in my course too about doing multiple accounts. You don't want to have too many accounts, and if you're new, I recommend really focusing on one account at a time. But there may be a time that in your business where you're really focusing on different types of audiences. So let's say you're an author and you have some books that are children's books, and then you have other books that are cookbooks. Those are 2 completely different audiences. So it may make sense to have different accounts for those different audiences. So that's where you have to think about what, your account has to appeal to the audience you're trying to attract. And when you try to attract too many completely different types of people, you may end up, losing those people, and they won't stay with you. But I definitely recommend, if you're new, it can be a little bit complicated to manage multiple accounts. There's apps that can make it a little easy, but you still have to, Instagram makes their API so that even those other apps that will help you schedule your content and post it, you still have to do it through it works through the mobile app. So you definitely don't want to be trying to juggle a bunch of different Instagram accounts if you're just getting started for that. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of can't find the links for free gifts, so I'm going to send the links out to everyone who has put a comment in here. And I am also going to make sure that I get that updated so that, hopefully if you come back to this page a little bit later today, you should be able to see that, those links to the gifts. So, great, yeah. So people are talking about leads and how to funnel them. So, this can depend on what kind of business you have, for sure. And, there's some businesses that what you really want people to do as a first step is to like let's say you're a coach or a consultant of some kind, what you might want people to do is to contact you for a free consultation, or a free, if you have software or some kind of service that you, or a product that you could demonstrate, you might want them to contact you for a demo. So you want to think about, what is that simple way that I can take people from Instagram and get them into the funnel that makes sense for my business. So if you're an author, you know, you want them to follow you and engage with you, but then you may want to send them to purchase your Kindle book. Like, what is that way that you want to bring people into, you know, your own pipeline, so that you can continue to communicate with them? And so for my business, you know, and I think a lot of businesses that have an online presence, I really recommend trying to, as much as possible, build up your email list. So you know, it may not make sense for you if you're a local, you know, business that really depends on, you know, somebody phoning you up. So you know, but for me, for a lot of businesses, concentrating on building up your email list is a really fantastic way to go, because once people join your email list, you know, even if they don't see all your posts on Instagram, you can always communicate with them. And that's where you can use, you know, the leads, the email strategy, to continue to offer them valuable content, and then offering them your products and services as well. And again, I always recommend, you know, a balance of offering people real value and helpful content. If you're having physical products, it could be gifts, it could be, and discounts and special offers. You know, I don't also like to always have people think about extra offers being cheaper, right? You don't always have to have a promotion that might be a discount. You can have a promotion which is offering some added value. So that's one of the things that I've tried to do here on this webinar, if you want to see it as an example, is to add in some extra bonuses that are going to make your products and services even more valuable. And having a limited time is a great way to create that urgency for people to purchase your products and services. So I hope that helps a little bit. If you have more specific questions on lead gen, please do write in. Okay, I'm still getting, it looks like the links are still not working. I just tried to refresh the page again myself and it wasn't working. So I will, anyone who's contacted me here, I will also make sure that I send these links out to all the attendees. So I do have information on everyone that was attending, so I'll send out an email. So keep an eye out for an email from Sarah Davidson, and I will make sure that you get all of your free gifts. Apologies for that. I knew there was going to be some technical thing that was going to that was going to hit me here. So great. So I'm still hanging on here. If there's any more questions that I'm going through, because I do see some other questions. Okay. So someone was asking why to use a personal hashtag when people can just search for your specific account. So the reason that you want to use a personal hashtag, you know, there's different strategies for that. So if you have, for example, a hashtag that you're consistently using in your brand, and then you're asking other people to use their hashtag when they post content, then you can find that content that's related to your brand, which is really important. And another great content strategy is to use what's called user-generated content. I guess it's kind of a marketing term, but basically you want to repost. If people are posting content about your business and they're using your business hashtag, you can find them by searching for that hashtag, right? And you can see their content, and if it makes sense for your, you know, feed and your stream, you can actually you know, feature their content. You can repost their content, you can tag them, and people love it. Like, that's a really great way to get loyalty, is to ask people to post some content related to your business. You can make it into a contest. You can, you know, offer something for it, or just to get a shout out. You can ask questions, ask people to take a picture of themselves doing something. You know, if you have cat photos, which I know somebody here in the audience does, right? Ask people to take a picture of their cat and use their hashtag to tag it, and then you can repost their content, and people love it. So make sure that when you repost anyone's content on Instagram, that you tag them and put their username into the description, both if you can, but you definitely want to make sure you at least tag them. So you definitely, using that personal hashtag can get you some consistency and brand awareness, and then other people will start to pick up on it and use it. And in your call to action, you can very specifically ask them to use that hashtag, and then you can find their content later. You can also use specific brand hashtags to group your content together. So if you're sharing like a Friday funny, you can create a special hashtag just for that, some humor on Friday, and then people can tap on that hashtag and they can see all of that content together. So you can use it as a way to group your content together and to kind of, get some momentum for that. So that's another reason you might want to use a personal hashtag. Okay, I'm getting some great sympathy here about the technology. Yes, I really did try to make sure everything was working, but I apologize for that. But yes, I've got everyone's emails, and I will absolutely make sure that I send you all the free gifts. And I have a question here about the Instagram Marketing Quick Start program. Okay, I actually moved that program to another domain, and I had sent an email out to everybody that purchased the Instagram Marketing Quick Start program. This is a really great point. I'm really happy that you brought it up, because some of you may not have gotten my email, because I did send it to everyone who purchased, but sometimes the emails go into your spam box. So for that person who contacted me, I will reach back out to you directly with the link to where that Instagram Quick Start program is. And I also want to mention, if you have the Instagram Quick Start program, then you have some of the beginning content in this course, and I have a special extra discount for Quick Start program because that program is valued at $97. And so there's an extra $97 off of this course. So it's only $200 if you already own the Instagram Marketing Quick Start program. So if you use the code QUICKSTART, all one word, QUICKSTART, and on the webinar, on the little form here, you can see there's a place on the top right to put in your special code. If you put in the code QUICKSTART and you are a purchaser and you own that first Quick Start program, then you will get the full Instagram Profits course for only $200. I've added more to the course since then, and I'm continuing to add more. But I just wanted to make sure that, because some of those modules overlap, that people that have the Quick Start program will get that extra discount. So thank you for asking that question. Okay, sorry. Somebody's asked me how to get images from your computer to your Instagram account. So the way that you can do that, I actually, I'll respond directly, because I have a free video on my YouTube account that gives a demonstration of how I do it. But what you want to do is to take your images that are on your computer, and I do this all the time because I use Canva a lot to create my images when I'm on the desktop. And I like to create, groups of images and batch it to make it more efficient. These are kind of some of the strategies that I talk about in the course, because if you're always going in one by one to create images, it takes a lot more time. So what I love to do is, take either my photos or stock photos, and a tool like Canva is my favorite. CANV for Victor A.com is my favorite one to use, but there's others. You can use PicMonkey. But if you're using something to create images on the desktop, then you can save those images to either a Dropbox or to your Google Drive, or if you're on iOS, you can save it to your cloud. But I think the easiest way, personally, I have a Dropbox account. I just throw them into, as soon as I create them, I put them into a file on my Dropbox account, and I actually created a folder on my Dropbox account, and I call it #1 for Instagram. And I put the #1 first, because that way it always shows up as the very first folder that I get to on when I pull up my Dropbox account. So I drop my photos into that, #1 for Instagram folder in Dropbox, and you could do the same thing by creating a folder or putting them on your Google Drive. And then you use the Dropbox app or the Google Drive app on your phone. and I'm an iPhone user, so I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm sure there's Dropbox. You can get that in Google Drive for Android, absolutely. Then you pull the image up in your Dropbox, you save it to your phone, and then when you open up Instagram and when you tap on that middle box at the bottom where you select your image, it'll be right there in your feed. So that's the way that I do it. And honestly, I do post from my mobile device, my mobile phone. I have an iPhone and an iPad that I use. And I think it's nice to mix some of the kind of created images that you've taken and you've maybe added some text and done some extra work on your desktop. I know it's easier sometimes to do it in batches on your desktop. But that's the way I do it, and just save it into one simple folder so you can find it easily. The other thing you can do, and this is in that bonus video that Grace talks about, ways to use your smartphone. So there's some different apps that you can use on your smartphone to create images and do some touching up and add the text and add comments, and it's really easy, and it's something you can literally do the way she teaches it, like in your extra wasted time, like sitting in the doctor's office waiting for your appointment or waiting to pick your kids up from soccer. So you can use your phone to actually create them and also keep them in a folder. So that you have them ready when it's time to post. Because the easiest thing is just to be able to, when you're posting on Instagram, you've got that sort of library, that one folder where you can just go and grab your images. But yeah, I like to do the combination of some images on the fly, so people can kind of experience things that are happening in my life. If you're a business that isn't just you and you have team members, you can get your team members to kind of do some candid shots and put them on Instagram. So I kind of mix up the images that I'm like spending more time on creating on my desktop and some more candid images that you can either just touch up quickly on your phone or using the filters within the Instagram app. I love it because you can make your photos look more professional, even if you're not a pro photographer, because I am far from that. And so, just little simple things like cropping it, and there's some great tips that Grace gives in her presentation about how to create some nice images, some simple tips on that. But having that mix of candid images and using those simple little filters and tricks to make them look a little bit snazzier. Another great tip to use is to make more consistency throughout your account. And I talk about this in the course, some different ways that you can create consistency in your account. And one way that you can do that is by using the same filter, or maybe pick a couple of different filters that you really like on Instagram. And if you consistently use those filters on your images, then when people are scrolling down your feed and looking at it, it just really creates this sense of consistency, because those images have the same look and feel. So there are a couple of filters that I prefer to use. So a lot of times when I'm taking my candid shots, I'll just pick one of my favorite filters. It makes them look a little bit more professional, and it provides that consistency in my account, and that kind of helps with that visual brand identity, so that when people then, when they see your content in the news feed, when they're scrolling quickly through it, having that visual consistency is what will make people notice your image or your video, and they will take notice of it. So another thing you can do, and I talk about this in my course, is you can use color in your images. So use your brand colors. So if you're putting, copy text, or you can put a little border around it in a certain color, that's one of your brand colors. You can put, a stripe on it. When you're putting text, you can use your brand colors in the images, in the text, and then you can also use fonts, the same font. So if you don't already have maybe 3 different fonts that you use in your business branding and communication, I would recommend, just choosing 3 fonts. Pick one that's like, what they call sans serif, I guess, that doesn't have the little edges on it, and one that's serif, it's S-E-R-I-F if you want to Google it, and then maybe more fun font that you can use. And so if you're creating text over your images, if you can use consistently the same colors, or consistently use the same fonts, that's another way to get that visual consistency throughout your content. Okay. reply here, and I know there's still a good group on the phone, so I'm going to hang out as long as you guys have questions, and I'm not putting this Q&A on the replay. So I'll give any and all information that I can to you if you want to hang on and ask. I guess I can't stay all day, but I'll stay a little longer. Okay. Great. So if you have any other questions or need more clarification, just put it into the comments there. I am hanging out. Okay, so I have a question about being able to efficiently reach your target audience. And so this is where, some of my ninja stuff comes into play, because you need to, the first step in any business, and I know this is something that's easy to gloss over when you get started because you get busy. But you really want to make sure you have what in marketing we would call a persona for your business. So, who is that ideal client that you are trying to attract? Who is the person that you want to work with, right? Who is the client or the customer who can afford your services and your products? Think about what age group they are, and think about what demographics they are, where they might live, and then think about lifestyle things. Are there certain other products that are similar to your product that they might use? Okay, so what you can do is find other businesses that are on Instagram that have your similar audience characteristics, and then you can start to use that system that I talked about, where you systematically go in and engage with them, and again, be authentic, but you can like their content, you can comment authentically on their content. So you can actually go to another Instagram account that would be your competitor's business, or just an account that would have, think about a business that would have the same kinds of customers. So if I'm a local restaurant, there might be a bar nearby that would have the same customers as me. So that might be, I call it a complementary business. So, or if you're selling, the guitar straps, you might also find your customers on the Instagram accounts for the guitar manufacturers, right? And so you can go in and click through and see their followers. And you can start to engage with their followers. And once you start engaging, and again, those 6 levels of engagement, the higher levels of engagement are commenting and sending private direct messages. But once you start to engage with those people, that's the way you're going to be able to reach your target audience. Now, again, that will work. These pieces, this system, don't skip any of the 7 steps, because you have to be able to, your profile has to be set up so that when that ideal customer comes to check out your profile, when they see your content, the profile is going to say, oh, I'm going to hit follow. And people make a quick decision when they come to your account on Instagram. They will take a look at your account, they'll look at your profile, and they're going to scroll down real quickly. And I'm sorry I didn't get my phone hooked up here. I'd try to show you what it looks like. But when you check out an account, like, you see a notification when somebody new has followed you or they've made a comment, right? So what you'll do, and I'm sure if you started to use Instagram, you do this yourself, you'll go check out who they are. And when you go to their profile, you'll read the description, you'll look at the profile photo, make sure your profile image is recognizable. If you're using a brand, your logo across all your social media and your website, you can use the logo for your profile image. If your brand is you, put your picture. And use the same picture if you can that you're using on other social media profiles, so that people will recognize you if they already know you from somewhere else, right? So make sure that profile is optimized to get to actually attract those people, so that when they find your content, they're going to start following you. And then again, it's all those steps, they build on each other. If your content is attractive to them and catches their eye when they're browsing around and searching on hashtags. So that comes back to the optimization. You want to make sure that you do a little bit of market research there. And Instagram is a fantastic tool for market research. But, start to look at what hashtags are being used by your competitors and your complementary businesses, right? Because those hashtags could be the ones that are going to help attract your targeted followers. You want to make sure the hashtags that you use in your content are relevant for the content that you're sharing. So you don't want to just post hashtag ice cream and, that's not what your content is about, right? But keep a list. Like, I keep a list of hashtags as I come across them. So I follow a lot of other both complementary businesses, competitive businesses. I follow industry influencers because I like to see what they're doing. I follow a lot of my target audience on Instagram. I follow a lot of people, and I can then see, as I'm scrolling through my news feed, if I'm following these people, I can see what content is getting the most engagement. I can see which hashtags they're using, and I keep a list. I keep a list in a Google Doc. You can keep it in a list on your phone, in your notes section. But whenever I find new hashtags that I think might be interesting and that my target audience would like, I keep them in a list so that when it's time to post something, I can just go back. And I group them into groups so that they're easy to find. So I have hashtags that are grouped into, for example, because I do post a lot about social media marketing, I might have a group of hashtags that's about Twitter. And I might have a group of hashtags, and if I'm posting a Twitter tip, I'll use those hashtags. So you want to do it for your own business, but do that research by trying to follow and observe. Some of it in the beginning is really seeing what's working for other people and seeing what your target audience is reacting to, and then tailoring that, not copying exactly, but use what's working, right? For other businesses that are similar to yours, and use what's working for you. And that's where you can use that Iconosquare, which is a free tool. They actually tried to charge for it, and they kind of went back on their stance on that because they had so many complaints. But Iconosquare, Iconosquare, is a great free tool that will show you which of your posts are getting the most, you can see it in your Instagram. So if you look in your profile, you can look at your posts and see which ones are getting the best quality comments and the most comments and the most likes. But you can see that, in a snapshot in Iconosquare. And Iconosquare will also show you which times of the day you're getting more engagement. So I hope that helps answer some of your questions. Okay, and I know there's still a good group here. So excited that you guys stick around, and I really appreciate, because I know we've gone like 2 hours at this point, and I know your time is super valuable. So I really, really hope that you have gotten something valuable out of this. And, honestly, whether or not you buy the course, and if you, I just think Instagram is such a great thing right now for businesses, and it's working so well when you know what to do. And hopefully now you have that big picture and a step-by-step idea of what to do, and you can just tailor that for your business. But I really am excited because the fact that you stuck around means that you're interested in doing this, and I think you're going to be really thrilled when you start doing more with Instagram and hopefully apply some of the tips and the strategies that I've shared today and getting even better results for your business. And at any time, please email me back. You can find me in my Instagram Marketing Facebook group if you guys are there. You can find me on Facebook. Obviously, you can find me on Instagram and post a comment there, Spark Your Profits. I shared the link earlier. So, reach out to me and let me know how it's going for you. And we always have a great discussion on the Instagram Marketing Facebook group. So we do have an open group there. You can come and, definitely give us some feedback there on whether you found this information helpful, and if you think of some other questions later. And then, if you've been working on some of these tips and a few weeks or a few months from now, you think it's working well, I would love, love, love to hear back from you and, hear about your successes. So, and you may discover new things, and I'm discovering new things all the time. And that's why I try to keep, refreshing this course and adding content to it on a regular basis. So I'm not seeing any new questions coming in right now. So I'm going to go ahead and close out the call. But actually, oh, I'm sorry, I just did see another. If you have multiple niches, would you suggest multiple Instagram accounts? So yeah, I did talk about that a little bit already. If they are different enough, yes. But if you're new to this, I would do one at a time, because it can be a little bit complicated. If you're actually doing it on your mobile device, you have to log out of an account and then log back into the other. If you happen to have more than one device, like an old iPod Touch, or an iPad and an iPhone, or a tablet and an Android phone, you can set up the different accounts on different devices. You can use the desktop to manage your comments and your likes and comments, and respond back to people. You can even use Iconosquare for that. You can use it right on the Instagram desktop. So that's a way to be able to easily manage multiple accounts on the desktop. And there's an app called, let me see, I think it's called Schedugram. I'm just going to make sure that that's the name of it. Yes, Schedugram, SCHEDUGR.AM. And so you can use Schedugram to schedule posts and use multiple accounts. I think they do have a charge for a certain level. It may be free to begin with. I think that it used to be. But what it does is it will actually still have to, because of Instagram's restrictions, not because of Schedugram, you'll schedule the content, and then it will send like an alert to your phone that automatically will let you tap on it and open up Instagram, and it automatically posts all your content. So, there is still a little bit of extra steps there to manage the multiple accounts. I do have multiple accounts, and I don't actually manage other people's accounts, but there have been times that I have briefly done that to get people started, to work with my clients. So I know it is a little bit of a pain, but the Schedugram makes it a lot easier. And also, if you can just systematize things as much as possible, also what I do to make it easier, especially if I want to post a description that is a little bit lengthy, is I'll email the description to myself, and then I can just copy and paste it into the description on Instagram. And that way it saves me time of having to type stuff out on my mobile device. So I hope that helped. And let me just see if there's anything else. Okay, I think I'm not getting anything new in. So I'm going to go ahead and close out the call. Again, I think I've told you guys where you can find me, and some of you know me already. So please do reach out. I'm happy to answer any other questions following this. And again, I'm so excited that there's a great group that's still with us and that's stuck with us for 2 hours. That makes me really, really happy. So thank you guys for spending your time here, and I will get the replay link out later today. So in case you want to go back and hear this again, and I'll make sure I send everyone the slides and the extra gifts that I have so that you can download them. And I'm sorry that the links weren't working for this. So thank you so much, and I really appreciate your time, and thanks for joining me. Have a great day.